Yo, what's up, guys? It's Talon. Today we're going to be coaching a Grandmaster Peak Rumble and Sett player. And this video, I feel like it gives a really good kind of example of what the difference is between a pretty good Grandmaster kind of top laner and like a true high elo sovereign top laner. We talk about a lot of the details. Jungle tracking, planning more properly, how to play out team fights, when to approach team fights, how to set up properly, a minute beforehand, for example, for objectives, those types of things. So if you're interested in really like taking your top lane game to the next level or learning what higher elo top laners are thinking about, definitely stick around for this coaching. If you're interested in getting coached by me, 5-role Sovereign and a rank 1 solo queue player, DM me on Discord Talon1169 or through the link in the description to my Discord server. It's just $25 for an hour of coaching. Anyways, let's get right into it. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so we'll start with the Rumble game. So are there any initial things you have, like, questions you have or typical problems you have in your games, like anything like that?
Not so much. Like I said, a lot of times, I do okay with winning lane, but then again, I feel like this game in particular, I think I threw a little bit, and I think the whole team did, but I was like the one with the most amount of gold, so I was like, it's kind of on me.
Gotcha.
So I think I get oftentimes pretty antsy when I can just feel the vibe of the game shift. It's like, oh, I feel like we were doing good. Now I think we're not doing so good.
Yeah.
And then I get antsy to maybe rush Baron or dragons and stuff like that, and then
Okay.
throwing that way.
Gotcha. Yeah, as it relates to specifically Rumble matchups, I'm not like the most, I don't play Rumble, and I never
Sure,
claim
yeah.
when I'm coaching people to know every single specific matchup. Your champ generally
Right.
is very strong in lane. You're gonna know how to play it better than I am in terms of like specific matchup stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean everything I see obviously level 1, I don't really have any issues with. In this type of
Sure.
game, I mean you have weird jungle pathing, like your jungle starts on um invading, and your jungle
Yeah.
is also weak.
Counter jungling, yeah.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
your jungle is also weak early. So you're not gonna have a lot of pressure. And then Garen, obviously, if you take even trades with him, he has his sustain from his passive. I'm assuming you're aware of that. If you're not,
Yeah.
let me know.
Yeah.
But so taking even trades like this and trading pretty hard isn't always going to be the most effective unless we have a specific goal. So for me, I'm like, the only time I'm really trading for you is like around first strike. So like you can trade here if you're getting first strike proc, and then just like
Right.
immediately back off after.
Okay.
So I guess I'm pretty fine with that. I'm more just trying to make sure you understand, like we want to understand our specific goal in the lane. And really for you, all you're probably trying to do here is get decent poke on him. You're probably not going to kill a Garen with this jungle as well, right? You don't
Yeah.
really. So you're just trying to get your first wave crash and then get armor boots or mana boots. Are you playing AP or the tank build? You have first strikes. You're playing
I
AP,
think,
right?
yeah, this is AP, yeah.
Yeah. So then your goal is probably to crash and get mana boots or whatever. Do you play tank ever, by the way? Because I do see people doing that a lot.
Yeah, I do sometimes. I do usually if we're missing a tank, but since we had Nautilus, I was like, "Oh, just
Yeah,
go AP."
makes sense.
And also
Um,
they had Gwen, so I was like, I think going
and
tank would
and so
fuck
this
me
is
over
sort
a
of the
lot.
first time where again I see you kind of like, if your goal is to recall first, typically the thing we can do, especially as a strong early laner like Rumble, we're playing to slowly stack up a pretty big wave and then get
Mhm.
that wave to crash around level 4 because that's when we can recall for boots. So basically like not this wave but the next wave that's going to come. Your goal is pretty much to build that up into crash, and what you end up doing is you trade really hard with him here, which makes it a lot harder for you then to ever actually push the wave or have any control over the wave because you're going to be quite low health, so you're more susceptible to jungle, and it's pretty hard to actually like crash that wave and get your recall. So this kind of shows me you're not necessarily thinking too much about your goal. You're kind of just like trading. You're doing a good job of trading around first strike though. You're only really trading with that,
Mhm.
and that's very, very good because you're going to just get random goldies off that. But basically all I'm really wanting you to do here is to sit behind this minion, wait until he walks up to try to last hit it, and then you take your first strike trade there. Rather than what you do here,
Me
he can
going
trade with
up,
you,
right.
the minions can hit you obviously, and he can get his full combo. Whereas if you're further back, you just get a little bit of poke on him and then you back off. He can't really, E you under turret. So you're not going to lose the trade nearly as hard. And you're still going to have like more minions building up because then the next wave is going to come and then that's when we're going to push it harder to crash. Does that
Sure,
make sense?
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I think I do struggle with that with the goal in lane. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just trade, sometimes I'll just, you know.
And most of the time as an early game champion, which all of your champs are quite good early game, your
Mhm.
general goal is going to be we're built, and I have a video like specifically called like advanced wave management or something. It's linked in that Google Doc if you know what I'm talking about. But in that, and if you don't, just I'll link later. But
Sure.
basically, it's like you have two goals, and it's either you're building up a wave to crash this current wave that, so like you would have built it up better, and you'd be crashing right now, and then you're recalling at like 147, 150 this timer,
Hmm.
or you're building up a wave and then you're looking to dive, and so then you'll be ganking around 150 to 2 minutes, and you can just stay in lane longer because like if you know jungle pathing, basically, um,
Right.
if the jungler is pathing towards you, obviously you're a lot more okay with kind of staying there longer and continuing to out poke and out trade, especially because you're Rumble again. But in this situation, again, weak early game jungle. Their jungle was on our side of the map, though it was kind of weird jungle pathing this game
Yeah.
overall. And Garen's, again, not a champion we can kill. So then you're ending up staying here a long time, and you're just pretty susceptible to a gank or anything. Even here, you could just recall on this wave at this point. It's going to continue to push into you. If Garen stays, like, he's not going to be able to do anything. Instead, again, you're stuck
Sure.
here. A mid can roam onto you at some point. Jungle can roam, and basically you're just at the mercy of jungle. When if we just crash for free, again, you get back to lane first. You're just overall a lot stronger there. And then now you're forced to kind of ult a wave randomly, so now you're not going to have your ult, later. So
Yeah, I think I like realized that in time. I was like, oh, I'm weak. Garen's about to hit 5, and he
yeah,
could
you just
like
want to get out.
burst me. Yeah.
And it's good that you notice that. And I can tell, like, again, you're playing strong early laners. You're generally taking pretty good trades. You're not taking stupid trades. You understand that. So the main thing for you is just actually have a plan of, I want to crash my wave on this time. And it's sort of hard to give you an exact, like, you hit this minion this many times and you're going to crash at this exact time. It's a lot more of like trial and error to get used to the different matchups, again, because it's going to be unique for your matchups. But I want you to just generally understand our main goal is, if we're in most winning matchups, to be building up a decent wave, trade around first strike, get good trades, and then we crash a wave. And then if we're winning hard enough, we can dive through that. If we're not winning
Yeah.
hard enough, we just crash and we get the first recall, and that's always beneficial to you. A lot of people, they try way too hard to fight to the death every lane, and just like,
Yeah.
again, if you do like what you're doing, where you're trading on even wave states and the wave stays even after you win a trade, like it has been, because you use all your abilities to clear the wave, and then he eventually walks back up because he's Garen, then it's literally, if your jungler comes and ganks, you're going to win. If your jungler doesn't and theirs does, you will lose, and you have no control over that. Because sure, you win a trade by an extra 20% health, and maybe you blow his flash, but it doesn't matter if their jungle shows up. Are you aware, by the way, of like jungle timers, or not really?
Not too well, no.
Okay, so I'm gonna write this down for you. I write this down for pretty much everyone I coach who answers no to that question. But basically, the way it works, to describe roughly, let's say he starts, and again, this was weird pathing because all the weird invade shit, but typically, let's say that the enemy jungler starts blue, and then they go to red. They're going to be ganking red side, like their red side, anywhere from 150 to about 230, just because of when camps spawn. Then they'll go back to blue side around 230, they'll go back to red side again around 345, and then back to blue around 5. That's just when the camps are respawning, roughly. And obviously, you would just flip it if they start red side. And so I'll write that down. Obviously, you don't have to memorize what I'm saying right now.
Sure.
And then knowing that just means, that's why I want you to crash at the 147, for example, that timer. Because if that's when jungle could gank you, if you don't know where they started and you know your jungler's either a bad gank or like fiddle early, or your jungler is pathing away from you, which is why we eliminate that possibility. Then you recall, you get your boots, you come back full HP, full everything. When you play a lot of champs without mana, so that mana isn't really an issue, but you do that, and then by the time you get back to lane, you're there at like 205, 210. The jungler's already going to be leaving by that point, and now you can play, again, you got the first recall, you have prio, and now your jungle's there. That makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And here you can see junglers are matched, obviously, so you know, like, when junglers are matched, this is also when it's more okay to trade heavily if you have the winning matchup, because obviously, like, you're gonna, if you win the trade and then everyone's there, it's a 2v2, you're gonna just win because you're stronger.
Yeah.
And because you have his jungle timer, like, you can see this, because you don't have, so you have the Fog of War turned on properly. You know he's gonna go red side right now, so this word is useless, and all this word does is lose you a minion, and it gives you, you lose prio. Like, it'd be very weird if his blue side was up, because as we said, we're at 253, so this must mean he started at red side, right? Because he would have gone red to blue, and then again, right around the 230 mark is when they start going back, because his Krugs would respawn earlier, and then the red respawns.
Yeah.
Later, so
I feel like what I've been trying to do more more often is to like whenever I do push a wave to like, well, okay, what do I do while they're
Yeah.
kind of under towers? Like find something, but yeah, it makes sense like cause the specific timing.
Yeah, and it's
It's
good.
not
I can
useful.
see that habit, and you're doing that properly. It's just, yeah, in this specific situation, we do know. Which is what's nice
Yeah.
is like you don't need map packs if you can pretty much figure out this jungle tracking.
Mhm.
It's basically like you're always going to know where they are once you just get these specific timers in mind. And then what you're doing now is perfect. You just trade super hard with them because jungles aren't here, and you know that. And your ward makes you very, very confident in that. So overall,
Yeah.
your lane phase is good. You know your matchups. I think the main thing is you're trading too hard on certain waves where again, your goal is more to like build up a wave and crash. And when you trade that hard, you either push it too fast if your abilities are hitting, or you waste all your abilities and then you can't really push afterwards.
Yeah.
Instead of just again punishing last hits, like just wait for him to walk up for a last hit 3 seconds later, and then the same thing happens, but you don't lose the trade as hard, or you don't go even in the trade because your rumble and your
Yeah.
champ wins like every trade. So
I think like, you know, one thing that's interesting is like there's some champions with Rumble who I still struggle with who I feel like I shouldn't. And it's
which
like
champions?
champions, it's like Nasus, for example, because
Mm,
with him, I think it's like, okay, I need to trade with him super hard early and everything, but then I end up just pushing the wave every time because like his Q is
yeah,
just gonna naturally push the wave. And then he just gets level 5 without me ever getting him low enough to like
yeah.
kill him.
And I can kind of see that with your gameplay. That definitely makes sense. The biggest thing you're trying to
Mhm.
do in these matchups where you're winning is not get a 3,000 gold lead. It's get like a 300 gold lead. And then that
Sure.
300 gold lead leads to you hitting first item plus boots before objective. Then you're way stronger at that objective. Oftentimes you then win at that objective. Or the fact that you're up 300 gold and maybe that means that you get to recall for mana boots to the wave early. That means you then get back on the wave and he doesn't recall yet. Now he has no boots, and now you're trading no boots to boots. Obviously, you're going to win super, super hard. Or you win those trades slightly, you stack a big wave, and you dive. There's a lot of ways where that 300 gold lead, that small XP lead, is going to lead to you winning. But when you try to overforce like you're doing now, jungle fucks you, and then now, okay, this Nasus, yeah, he becomes strong enough where we can't kill him. We don't get any lead because we pushed a wave into him. So maybe we have a health lead, but that health lead doesn't matter if then jungle
Yeah.
comes and you're not playing around those things. So I can definitely see how that would be a problem, these types of champs. Also, Nasus is broken. Like, fuck that champion. But that's a
Yeah.
separate. I think Rumble should probably be pretty good in the Nasus, though. Because the
He
Wither
should
shouldn't
be, is
be.
that because like
Yeah.
Nasus is super like, you know, bad early game and Rumble is really good. But I think yeah, it's that mentality I have where it's like, oh, let's trade really hard and then oh
Yeah.
shit, I accidentally pushed the wave. Yeah.
And I can see as well here, like you're trying, and this is again good, and you're trying to impact the game more than just go to my lane and just like you're doing the warding stuff, and you're
Mhm.
going here now. And I think the problem more for you is timing. Like again, this
Yeah.
wave is already coming here, and you can already see it's coming because your wave is almost there, right? And so just go on this wave. You have complete prio. You're super super far ahead, and you have ult. If you really just wanted, you could ult the wave. I wouldn't, but you know, even if you
Yeah.
wanted, you could do that. And then you go on the camp after. But instead now again, you guys are up 2.5k gold, and for some reason you decide to go kind of fuck with enemy jungle. You also had the timer, so you could have kind of just walked straight there if you're really wanting. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
go
my
on to
passive
him,
is
and now
weird
like
there.
the only way you lose this game is if this Rumble or if this Garen rather gets push, crashes a wave, gets a big gold lead on you, and then this play into the Gwen like doesn't work out, and then basically for no reason you just lost 200 gold under your turret. Like you just lost your
Right, right.
entire wave under your turret just to trade really hard with enemy jungle. You did nothing to the jungler. Like he barely lost health. And then you just trade hard with Garen. You lose your ult. And again, you're losing your ult. I don't know the cooldown, but you shouldn't have it up now for the objective. Like this doesn't do anything for you. You're already winning against this Garen super hard. The way again that you're going to progress this game is probably you having prio at like 20 seconds, pushing the wave, and then using that to rotate and spread your lead somewhere with your ult and actually being able to, you know, do well in a team fight. Now, if you saw a solo kill angle on him, sure, like go and solo kill him because then you can get turret and you're going to be like a million gold ahead. But
Right, right.
like this isn't a solo kill angle. This is just you winning the trade, which you would win even without ult.
Yeah.
So the time that you waste your ult doesn't really make sense. You didn't push the wave before trying to fuck with jungle. Because if you fucked with jungle after pushing the wave, then it's great because you have nothing else to do. But instead, you lose out on 200 gold here. So even though you won the trade and you fuck with the jungle, you lost 200 gold. And you might even lose a cannon. You get the cannon at least because he pushes it. And now you don't have your ult, which is, again, like you're a very, very good team fighting champion. You're not just going to stay for side lane 24/7 because you don't push turrets fast. That's not how you push your lead. Your lead is you get that lead from lane because you're broken in lane, and then you come to team fights and you melt people in team fights most of the time.
Right, right.
So, yeah. Do you have any questions about anything we talked about in the early game? Or?
No, no. So far, I mean that makes sense. And yeah, I
Okay.
feel like Like, looking back at it, it's like, yeah, I don't know why I'm ulting basically like a full health Garen. 'Cause there's
Yeah.
like no way I can like 100 to 0 him. It would have to be like small trade, then do it.
And then in terms of preparation as well, once again, you're trading hard with him. What do you think your goal should be right now at this point?
Push the wave, get prio, then go to um Rift Herald? I don't even remember what it's called.
Yeah, Enchanted
Basically
Ensemble is
Rift
what it's
Herald
called
thing.
now, but it's the Herald. I
Yeah,
still call
yeah,
it the
yeah.
Herald.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I'm pretty sure you have Riftmaker right now, and you haven't gotten it, or whatever your first API. Do you go Riftmaker, or what do you go
Or
first usually?
yeah,
Yeah.
Riftmaker.
So you should have Riftmaker first, and I don't think you've gotten it yet. So you should be recalling, because no one's here. You know where everyone is, so you're not gonna like just go hit Herald right now. Just push the
Right.
wave, and then yes, like the prio is important. And let's say we're in a different situation where if a fight's already happened, you could go Herald right away. But instead,
Right.
you can just recall, buy your item, and come to the fight late and clean people up. You could even go Dragon after this recall. You can. It depends on what you see. Like if you're like, oh, you know, Garen's still pushing, I just want to go back and match him. That's fine. You could literally, if you had ult, you could ult the wave for Garen. Because like another thing you can do as Rumble uniquely, and this is again why I hate this champion. You can literally ult the
Okay.
wave as it's like right here, and then you can just fuck off wherever you want, and you have like over 30 seconds where Garen can't push, and you can go to the team fight before him. You have complete prio, you have everything, right? So
Sure.
basically your goal in the first 6 minutes of your lane is to squeeze out these small advantages rather than what you're doing, which is like only looking for solo kills, which sometimes can be great. You understand your champion, you're going to see solo kill angles, but play more around jungle, play more around getting those small XP leads, denying them some gold, playing around your first strike procs, crashing the waves at the proper times, or your boots, and probably one time more, and then don't waste our ults random times unless we have solo kill angle before objectives. Crash the wave early before objectives so we can rotate and use the fact that your champ is OP in lane early to have that prio to impact the game by like again just getting our recall off, getting our item, going to the fights, that type of thing. So
Right.
and yeah, instead then you're going here half health. It's you probably weren't even needed there. You could have just recalled for your Riftmaker. And I mean I get why you want to go there. That's not really like a big problem, but yeah, obviously this is all fine. You maybe can try to look for tier 2. Yeah, they're all top, so you can just get tier 2. I think you can just get the... maybe the shield makes it.
Yeah, I think we fucked off because of shield, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And yeah, getting the Gromp. I like that you're looking for Gromp too, like taking as much as you can. Overall, yeah, a lot of the things you do with your gameplay are good. And then, yeah, probably just go bot initially, push bot, and then start looking mid as much as possible is pretty much going to be what the general macro should be for the rest of this game. Whereas if you were Sett or Volibear, I'd be a bit more okay with you side laning more frequently if you have Demolish especially. But even those champions, very often, if you've taken first turret, you will just push and then roam. So yeah. So yeah, basically again, your goal here is to just get this push. Since your jungle's not here and theirs is, you can be a bit scared, but realistically, you're just going to push this wave and then immediately go mid. The only thing you're trying to do within this next 3 minutes is again squeeze an additional random mid wave or two out of the situation. Push your wave early so that you can go get a mid wave. And then anything else that happens, like if you get a kill, that's just good. Like you're not trying to do that. It's just we're happy when it does happen. Whereas again, you trade with Garen randomly here. Again, your jungle's not here. You don't know where he is. At this point, you probably just ult this wave and leave. Honestly, like I don't really see why we need to stay here for this long. At this point, and then you can start farming your teammates' Krugs because like he hasn't farmed them. Just ult the wave and leave. Like we don't need to sit here under turret for no reason. Like you were so okay with ulting your wave before, but then. I don't know if you're trying to bait them or unfortunately.
I think I was. I thought they were gonna like try to go on me harder and
Yeah.
then try to see what I could do, but yeah.
And I would definitely think of your champion more as a champion, especially when you're playing AP, right? As a champion who your goal is just get as much gold as possible. So that means like this 20 seconds you're wasting just sitting there where they're doing nothing, and luckily eventually they kind of but it's just if you get that wave cleared, you have 20 seconds where again you can just go and farm your teammates' drugs. You can go and farm his shit because he's, again, not there. Or you could go to a mid-wave and just get more things done. Overall, though, I don't mind. Like, if you're trying to bait them and you see, like, they're overextending and you know you can kill, like, that's not really something I have a big problem with. That's pretty reasonable.
Right.
But I would recall already. Again, if you want to take Gromp, honestly, this is fine. I don't have any issue with this. But I am looking to recall soon. At this point, you have a decent amount of gold to spend. You could, again, ult this wave. Like, your champ is just... all your champ does is damage. Your champ has no utility. Like you have a slow, but like it's not really. You have no actual utility for the most part. So gold is all that matters because gold is the only thing that increases your damage. So ulting that wave randomly bot there's no reason not to. And then you can do exactly what you're doing top here, and your ult's going to come back for the objective, because that would have been about a minute before the objective. So then it's going to come up right around that time, and you get an additional 200 gold. Instead, now Garen has complete pressure there and can get that turret if you stay here. But if you'd done that, he would be wasting so much time. Instead, you have to kind of late go here, or you just lose your turret. And now you can see the time that you get to the objective is going to be super awkward. Now you're here, you're going to start walking now, and it's spawning. And then you end up getting distracted by this guy on side lane. And again, your Fiddlestick sucks at Wild Rift, so he dies to him. Not your fault, but it's still, like, if you'd prepared for that in advance, no one even has to deal with the Garen on side lane, and you're set up for the objective. Instead, once again, despite your champion being teamfight focused, like early lane plus teamfight focused, not side laning focused, you haven't yet really been able to contribute to any fights or use your lead in any meaningful way, because you're not just getting these waves pushed beforehand. Because again, like, the biggest thing, kind of as a general rule of thumb, is we want to be pushing the wave typically around, let's say, 20 to 30 seconds before, because if you do it like you did here, you did it, what, a minute before roughly, when you recalled here. Now they have more than enough time to continue to prep the wave. So then when you go here now you have to go back at some other point. Whereas if you were there at 30 seconds, and then you say you kill the wave that's there at 30 seconds, they might be able to get your turret, but by the time they're getting your turret, dragon spawned, and now you get dragon. And you can trade dragon for one turret. Like, that's okay. Yeah, as long as there's not a gold bounty on it or whatever. But what you do then instead is, not only do you give up the turret and the pressure of that side lane, but then you have to go back because you do it too early, right? So
I think, like, what was happening there too, I was I know, like, ping my teammates, like one of them to try to go bot to deal with him, but I see what you mean. Like, if I had ulted that wave when it was at, like, his top turret, it was still taking him more time.
Well, who on your team can... everyone on your team gets solo killed by Garen, by the way. You're the only... unless, like, Nautilus, but your support's not good, right? That wouldn't make sense.
Sure.
Everyone here gets solo killed by a Garen on side lane. Your champion is the only champion who can deal with him on side lane, so you have to take that into account, too. Like, if you have, like... I don't know, like, say you had a Fiora mid for some reason, or whatever random side laning mid lane, or Jace mid, and your Jace was actually going there, it's fine then. Like, if you recalled at that 1 minute mark and you saw him going there, you could then be, like, you saw him going bot, you could then go to a side lane, a different side, or go mid, wherever, it's fine. But the difference is, one, obviously we can't really predict our teammates, or
I can't control that player.
Yeah, we can't really control that. And it's not even good for your teammates. And then again, you can just ult the wave. It takes you 2 seconds, and then you get to leave anyways, and now you have a numbers advantage. So that's why it would be better. I get the thought process, though. In an ideal world, of course, our teammates will cover. But yeah. And then at this point, I'm mostly fine with what you're doing, because you do just want to be in the fights, and since top is even, it's fine. I'm trying to think, do we really have the opportunity to push it out earlier? Because the one thing... is I do like having top pushed out if I'm a team fighting champion before Baron spawning, so that I can just go to Baron and be fine there. But here you kind of had to respond to the Garen because of the earlier mistake. So let's say like you did everything optimally after you'd gotten Dragon, which you should have been able to get. You would have pushed out top and then came here. But because of the situation you're in, it's fine to do what you're doing here.
Okay, gotcha.
And then, yeah, you're pretty much just going to be grouping mid and looking for some type of pick. You might want to start pushing out the side lane more often, too. A lot of times you might feel kind of, like, lost here. You can fuck with their jungle.
That is, like, a very general feeling, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. And when you're fucked, or when you feel lost, rather, like in the mid-game, 11 minutes onwards, when you're in this type of situation, fucking with jungle like you did there is good, because you just mess with them.
Yeah.
Right after, you immediately go side lane, and then just be okay with, like, showing up slightly late to a fight. Like, your ult, you can ult from pretty long range, and you're more of a cleanup champion. You're not really starting off the fights. So the fact that you pushed out the side lane, and then you're going to be late to this fight, for example, that's totally fine. Just be more okay with kind of doing that more frequently. And then this is where, yeah, you just get confused and you just start a Baron. The enemy are not low enough, and they have Ezreal Lux, which is also scary, of course.
Yeah, like double steal.
And there's 5 people alive. Like, nobody's dead on enemy team. One person's low, and it's like their Lux. It's not like a key member of the game. Just play to fight here, and just play to have pressure. We don't need to flip. The general rule, too, about flipping objectives, you know what I mean when I say flip, right? Like, just 50-50.
It's like when you... Yeah.
Yeah, like, basically when you don't know who's going to get it, because everyone's alive and kind of whatever. We don't want to do that when we're ahead, because if we're ahead... and then we take a risk on a really game-turning objective, of course, if it's like a 50-50, and we already had a 60% chance of winning, why would we take a 50% chance of lowering that significantly when we're probably going to win anyway? Yeah. Kind of a weird way to explain it, but I think you get what I mean.
Whereas that makes sense.
If we're down 3 or 4K
you're behind,
gold,
you kind of have to do a Hail Mary.
Yeah, exactly. You can do a Hail Mary when you're down 3 or 4K gold. That's what I did in my video that comes out like tomorrow. I was playing Fizz and I just like ult the Baron and we just flip it, and I'm like the mid laner. We just flip it and we just win the game because we get that, even though it's risky because we're just down and we're losing. And it's like it's fine to do it then. And that's the type of thing. So if you did this and you guys were down 3k and you felt like you're getting outscaled, I'm kind of fine with that. But instead, again, Ahri could get resets, Lux could steal this, Gwen could do it. There's so many things that can go wrong here. For some reason, they didn't contest you at all. I don't really know why. But either way, what should you do right after you get Baron?
I would say recall, try to push out waves.
Where? Which side?
Right now, I'm thinking top, since top turret is still open.
Yeah, I agree. You should just immediately recall here and go top. Instead, you just walk around and try to fight for a little bit. And so then we're not getting the wave set up quick enough. We're not getting that free turret. And maybe Garen dies eventually. This doesn't really, like... sorry, I keep coughing, but this doesn't really change anything for the game. Like, there's just... He eventually dies. He wastes a bunch of your guys' time. And this Baron doesn't last very long, so... A pretty big waste of our time as well. At this point, you should also just be pushing out bot. So again, even now, you just win this fight, go push bot. You just keep going for the team fight pretty much for no reason. Yeah, just not very useful. So just got to understand our goal with the Baron is just getting turrets, pushing out waves. I don't even know if you guys are going to get one turret at this. Yeah, like you get the Baron, and you guys didn't get one turret, and I think it's about to expire. Maybe you'll get top turret at the end.
Yeah.
But no, you don't. Like you literally got nothing out of this Baron. And then you just walked top and you fought and you die because you didn't have stasis because you wasted your stasis in your random fight earlier. Didn't do anything. So in general, yeah, it's just kind of in the mid game, you're sort of not sure where you should be or what you should be doing. General rule is get the side lanes pushed out first. Obviously your side lane initially. Typically your job as the Baron laner is to push out the opposite side of the map, right? Like so, or the opposite side of the next key objective. So if Baron's the next key objective, you're usually top side. If Dragon was the next key objective, you're probably going to be bot. That's a general rule. Not always the case, but usually. Once that's pushed out, you're typically going to go to the... you're either going to side lane if your goal is to side lane, which then you're just going to go to the easiest to take turret, or you're just going to look to rotate and help your team, which is usually what you're going to do as Rumble once you pushed out the side lane. So just simple, push out side lane, go to the wherever a fight may break out. If side lane gets responded to, we can go again. Be okay with ulting the wave, because that's one of the most OP parts about Rumble. Probably save your ult if the objective is spawning soon, but ult the waves before that.
Yeah.
All of those things are kind of the main stuff. So once again, like, we can be prepping. I mean, you died here, right? So you come right now, you can go and push this bot wave out, for example, and then you get to come to the fight. Because again, you're Rumble, you're still going to come late, you're fine with that. Instead, now it's not being pushed out at all, and it's a little different because you were dead, so it's kind of like not a big deal that you just instantly went. But as a pretty general thing, I do want you pushing out that side lane first. Oftentimes, you're going to drag an Ezreal to you or a Garen or someone, and then you get to move first. It's going to be a lot better. Instead, you're always kind of the one who's first to objectives, and that's not really your job. You know, if you're tank Rumble or if you're Sett or Volley, more often do you want to be in a position to engage. But again, here you can just... I like that you go to the side lane here. I would have liked if you just stayed on it. But,
yeah.
but I like that you're looking for it, and I can see you're kind of just looking for that type of thing.
Right.
You play the fight out fine. So I think this fight is going to go bad, though, because you guys are really low. But it's not really your fault. Okay, misfortune. Kind of hate them.
Yeah, there definitely is still that kind of, like, honestly, low elo tendency of trying to just chase kills, like right here. I mean, actually, I think I get this person, which is good still. But,
yeah, this is totally fine. I mean, playing the fight because it's around the dragon is fine. The problem for you is not once you're at the fights around objectives. The problem is how you prepare, especially like a minute in advance. Like typical sequences, like we want to have control of, again, the opposite side of the objective, a minute in advance, so that we can push it out, have it pushed, recall, grab our item, and then either we're going to push one more item or one more wave and then rotate, or we're going to, you know, instead of recalling at the 1 minute mark, because maybe we just don't need to in that case, we push out 2 waves, and then once those 2 waves are pushed, that's when we then recall, like, or just rotate, right? But either way, it's basically, I need you preparing more like a minute in advance, and you should probably be aware of the objective spawning even further in advance. Like, the general rule I say is 45 seconds because that's a pretty straightforward, easy thing, but...
Yeah, that's why it kind of like shows up on the objective too. Yeah.
Exactly. But like for you, again, someone who's actually playing decently well and is a higher level player like Grandmaster, you know, despite it depends on who it is, because sometimes you're just 1,500 games, 49% win rate Grandmaster. Don't think that's you. But either way, like once you're at this level, it's more about preparing a minute and a half, 2 minutes in advance, like knowing what your actual plan is for the game. That's kind of the biggest thing I see with you is just you're kind of you're lost in the mid game, and so basically the simple thing is again we just push out our wave, then we can rotate to the mid, look for control of that, whatever, go to the objective. But a lot of times you go to the objective without preparing your wave in advance, or you chase these random fights after you got the Baron, that type of stuff. I don't really think you need to go further than this. I think you just recall now. Yeah, which you do eventually. And yeah, now you hit death cap. This is the time where I'm totally okay with the fact that, see, you push out the top lane. You don't need to go back there now. Now this is when you give yourself the moment to look for this fight on death cap or something like that, rather than you stay top. Like, this is exactly what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And then this is, okay, so this is when you feel lost, you should be going bot right now. Because there's a wave that's about to be bot. This is the type of thing you need to understand. You're still in the middle of you being on this, you know, side looking for the team fight. You still push out the waves. Whereas a lot of times you just kind of continue to go and group mid with your team. You see how if you push out that side lane, 95% chance someone shows bot. And now this fight that you're doing right now, say a fight breaks out, someone's bot. Yeah. Instead, now your Fiddlesticks is the one doing that. He's way more susceptible to dying. Obviously, just a lot more risky for him to do it. So. And again, pushing out the mid is great. Like, this is the same type of thing. This is exactly what you should be doing.
Like the same process, right?
Yeah.
Sadly, I think this is where the game starts really turning.
Again, by the way, bot. Like, right now, you can just walk bot here. You don't have to just sit here with your team, because you're not the one taking space, is what you need to understand. Again, like, Nautilus, Misfortune, Morgana sitting here, they do the same thing if 4 of you are here, because you're not just going to, like, go in and one-shot them. You can click your ult from far away. You can be trading with this Garen on the side or backing him off. Instead, now, again, Garen can find a unique angle onto you, and you'll just take poke here, because you're also just going to get poked out. And then, once again, you're also not on mid-wave quick enough. You can see the mid-wave now, the enemy are on it first. So you need to understand that at this point in the game, when you're just hovering these objectives and you feel lost, your goal is to get on every wave first. Whereas every wave you're getting on second. Garen pushed this wave first, and then you responded instead of doing the opposite. And then if you did the opposite, where you pushed it first, now you'd be on mid right now. You'd be pushing mid. Instead, Azrael gets to push mid, which means he has control of the map, and it's just harder for you. And then again, now you're going mid when this bot wave is the one that you could be controlling, whereas your team's already going to, again, they're going to be useful here regardless. It doesn't change whether or not you're here, and you just kind of recall for no reason. You already have death cap, so you don't need to be recalling.
I think I'm getting another item, and because like I think that's where like the lost thing is like, well, we're not doing anything. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Like,
I didn't know you had full infinity orb. That's perfectly fine, of course.
I think also it's like what's helping out with you saying this is the idea that Rumble can get to a fight late, kind of like right now. Because
exactly,
like,
it's you did everything you did here is perfectly fine. Like nothing changes if you're here 5 seconds earlier. If anything, you get to clean people up better, and it's kind of unfortunate that you end up dying. And also, for some reason, they allowed.
Well, this is some bullshit. Just watch this. Yes, exactly. I didn't know that shit could happen.
Yeah, no, they changed this like a couple months ago, and it's fucking stupid. I don't know why now if you stasis Garen ult, he's allowed. And so honestly, that's just like, you know, again, Riot Games being bad at their jobs.
Such bullshit,
yeah. So that's unfortunate, but again, yeah, you see, you show up to the fight late, everything went great. It's unfortunate that your teammates inted for no reason, and you barely didn't kill that Ahri. And that would change everything. But everything you did there is fine. There's nothing wrong with that approach. Then yeah, you can just control mid. I mean, what you're doing here, again, this is how you set up. You control mid at this point, and then you just have to be a bit more careful, because you do kind of just let yourself get caught. But you find a good choke point on them, so it's not too bad. But you are just positioning a bit aggro. I mean, you don't have flash, so I would just say, like, let our team, you know, play this fight out a bit better, because or let our team make the play first, and then we go, because again, the thing that we're wanting to do in these types of fights is we want to think of the key spells that can actually danger us. And that's really Ahri, Charm, and Lux Root. There's nothing else here that looks that scary to me. If a Garen goes on to you, you're going to be fine, whatever. So we just want to keep track of those key spells. And until those are out, we pretty much just sit and hover and we don't do anything. You got pretty impatient. Also, don't walk into these random bushes if you're not... Like, if you're Sett or Volibear, you could do that. You're Rumble, you can't. Because you never know if it's worded at this point in the game. And if that's worded, you will get one shot and die and lose the game. So it's just like completely pointless, especially when you're the fed one on the team. Like, your life matters a lot more. Whereas if you die there, kind of just screws the entire game over. So basically, the biggest issue of this fight is just you didn't keep track of spells, so you just went a bit too far up, despite them
Yeah.
having, certain spells that can hurt you, and then you pretty
You know,
much
I
lose
think
from
that's
here.
a big problem I have in general. It's like why like my worst role if I ever try to play is like ADC because
Yeah.
I'm used to playing like tanky champions who can like take space. I like position
Hmm.
really aggressively like that. But like again, having the idea that like Rumble doesn't need to be the one taking space, you can just push out waves and then come late is actually helpful.
Yeah. And then when you lock in tank rumble, you can play it more like how you play your other stuff, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Like again, in this game, you don't need to be the tank in other games if you think it's good. Also, I don't know how the matchups work. Maybe you think like the tank is just better in certain matchups.
Mm.
I don't really know. That's definitely up for you or up to you to figure out. But I mean, there's not really much to do at this point. You could go top, but then if you go top, they get Baron. You're gonna lose either way. There's not really, pretty much just ult the wave and hope that they throw. Um,
Yeah, they got really quick.
any other questions or anything?
On that one, I mean, like, what would you say, like, the biggest issue at the end there, again, like turning, was it like that really bad mispositioning?
The Elder fight, or
That
what, like, what do you mean?
yeah, I would
Yeah,
say
the
like the
Elder
other fight
fight
and
is
then that
just
Baron fight.
you trying to take like space on a flank, like you're not more of a DPS focused champion. Like you can
Right.
look for, because also if we go to their like comp, it's like let's say they have like a super fed, a mobile AD carry, and that's what the problem is. Your only goal is to wait till he's in a spot for you to ult, and then you just drop an ult on him, and he gets fucked.
Yeah, like a Kog'Maw or something, just
Yeah,
like
like if you're
jumping on
trying,
him.
and so maybe you're finding a flank angle where you drop that ult and then you flash into that, and so like you're looking to position there. But
Hmm.
we can go back to the
It's like Ez can just kind of like E out of that.
yeah, like
pretty much.
all of these champions will poke you out, like
Mhm.
Lux, Ezreal, even Ari to some extent. I don't know why it's not letting me skip anymore. It's weird. It's not letting me. Okay, there. So like if you walk here again, the champions like you just get outranged, so you're just sitting in like a a little like range battle, and they just win that. Like the way you're gonna win against these types of champs, you drop some big ult, which pretty much like your team. The fight starts, and then the enemy will group naturally because as the fight starts, they just get more and more, like grouped together. Is just how it works. And then you drop some big ult in a choke point. Like say you drop it around Dragon Pit, as they're trying to come into Dragon, because they're coming from top side. So say instead of approaching it like this, you approached, more normally, like where all your team is. The enemy
Yeah.
are all going to come from the left area, and you're going to have a really easy choke point to just ult in. Instead, the enemy are able to poke you for free here, and that pretty much leads to you getting caught.
Mhm.
So yeah, pretty much just understand your goal in the fights. Be a lot more patient in these fights. Stop trying to do so much. Because again, you literally got 204 first strike gold from just dropping your ult there. Like you do an insane amount of damage. The only way you're gonna
Right.
die, or the only way you're gonna lose, is if you die early or get caught early. Just let your team make the fight. Be more patient. Don't feel like you have to do like everything, and accept that sometimes, like you're gonna lose because your team does nothing. You can't really control that. I think it's the same thing with
Yeah,
the
follow up.
like Nasus matchup where you're trying to do so much and trying to push the lead so hard. Like don't think of you're not trying to get an 85% win rate and be like Lamont. You're trying to
Right,
just make your win rate go up 1 or 2%, play slightly better. And even when I talk to like starting, when he's like talking about like how they are viewing like the competitive matches, like their goal in the early game, and obviously this is competitive, so it's a little different, but their goal in the early game
Mhm.
is like deny a minion or two, have small level leads, have prio, and just like get tiny leads out and use those leads to snowball further. It's not, again, just solo kill in lane or do some crazy shit like that.
Right. Right.
So the reason that I say that is because it is that sort of mindset is what is also applied to how you're playing fights later, where you're trying to do so much in the fights when you can just play them a lot more like just as your champion needs rather than trying to force a bunch of
Mhm.
shit, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes sense too when you say it's like they'll outpoke me like an Ari and a Lux,
Yeah.
or like their ranges can like catch me.
Yeah, for
This
full
game, I will
melee
say,
champions, it's different. Go ahead, yeah.
um, I do fuck up like level 1 because I got interrupted by something ROL.
Okay.
So it's an Urgot, so I don't typically fight Urgots level 1, but you're gonna
Yeah.
see some dumb shit.
Yeah. So I mean, it happens. We also, probably play against Urgot once every 200 games because nobody plays this
Yeah.
champion. So you can sometimes get caught off guard by random shit when you play against a champion most never play against.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. Obviously, shouldn't fight him level 1, so we'll be a bit on the back foot. But I don't know. I mean, I guess freezing is okay. I don't know if I really want to freeze that much into range champion. I'm more fine with it just being, I mean, it's not like super ranged, but I'm more
Right.
fine with it just being roughly even because it'll still push into you. And then again, I just don't see a point in walking up and autoing and trading when you're down this much. Like this just doesn't do anything for you. Maybe you're still distracted, but they like you're down a level too.
Yeah.
Trying to all in down a level is pretty crazy. It worked out better than it should have, honestly. Even now, like you could just be hitting the 1 minion and just like trading after you level up. There's no reason to not be level 3 at this point, basically.
Yeah, Sett is definitely like is a champion I enjoy, but I do get
Yeah,
kind of monkey brain with him because he's literally a dive in, take a bunch of damage, and then hopefully it works out. So I do need to like kind of change up my perspective when playing him.
yeah. And I mean, it's fine to be very aggressive and be looking for these types of things. It's just more, you can be a bit more intentional with the things you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
again, you can do everything you did there. You just trade around your level advantage. And it's like you hit level 3 and then you do the same thing and you would kill him or he would, you
Right.
know, be in a. But again, you're trade, like, he's almost level 5 and you're just trading with him for like no reason. And if he
Mhm.
spaces you at all properly here, or he just hits level 5, like, he can just look for an all in on you. But instead, it just seems like it might end up working out kind of okay. But you're just kind of like, I mean, you're kind of just running at him and hoping you can stat check him. And I don't really
Yeah.
feel like we should ever be able to stat check Urgot down a level. He does have ignite disadvantage, and so this
Hmm.
is good that you're most likely noticing that, and that's making you be more aggressive as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, you pretty much just walk at him when you could be trading around level advantage, and you just be better. That's really the only thing I see here. But you kill him, maybe. Also, let's look at the time you kill him. Like, because I want to know about jungle. So what camp would Zed start on? Wait, no, it's not Zed's Vi. Never mind. But so when do we see Vi? We see Vi here. So based on this, Vi started red, right? This is obvious why.
Hmm.
Or okay. So based on this, Vi started red. As we said, the 230 thing. I mean, you should scroll your map to see exactly what's going on. But 230 is roughly when she should come back to red side. And so you're trading really hard. When your jungler is pathing away, their jungler will be here relatively soon. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
weird shit going on, so it might be a bit later. But then the time that you all in him is 215, which is a very, like, and this is, again, say that you didn't kill him here, so you just got him low. Wave could get frozen on you, jungle could fuck you. Like, this is also another
I
thing
think
that
I'm
we're not
realizing
taking
these
into
things
account.
like kind of late because that's why I decide to just recall instead of like trying to push for anything because I'm like, oh shit, I mean, I'm really vulnerable to jungle game kind of thing. So let me just go back.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of things you're just realizing, like, late rather than preparing for it in advance.
Right, right.
Yeah, I would just say the biggest thing for your early game is specific things of trading around level advantage, punishing last hits rather, like as we said with Rumble, you could have waited for 3 seconds for Garen to walk up for a last hit instead of you
Yeah,
just trading and wave. Be more conscious of building up a wave and crashing on that like 145, 150 mark to get a recall slash a dive depending on the situation. Just trade around jungle overall a lot more. Because again,
mhm.
their jungle is here. He should be anyways. I don't know where he is because
Yeah, yeah.
people are weird, but it's a Vi who could easily click ult on you, and you will just die here. And so, and you nearly died anyway because the ult was going to kill you. It was very, very close. So,
Right,
like,
but sadly, yeah.
if you know you can all in, that's fine. But again, their Vi is here. He's dog
Yeah.
shit. He could have Q flashed you, by the way. He has flashed. He just has no idea how to play his champion. And so, and even then, you still die. And again,
Yeah.
I told you exactly when he would be here. This is something we can know. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's going to be very easy to prepare for in the future. And that's just every game I want you to ask yourself at the start of the game, where will the jungler path? Because some champs, like Zed, for example, because I thought it was Zed jungle initially. Do you know where
Mhm.
Zed always starts?
I would think red because he doesn't have mana, so he doesn't need blue.
Zed always starts blue because it gives him more energy and he needs the energy for his clear. So it
Okay.
does still help his energy. Most champions don't have a default, but it's only really, there's no champion who actually defaults to red. It's only champions who are very mana reliant who default to blue. Whereas every other
Gotcha,
champion
yeah.
could kind of do whatever. So like Olaf, because he
Sure.
needs a Q a lot. Lilia sometimes, Amumu sometimes. They don't always have to, but they usually will. That's not really relevant. The point is, we want to be asking ourselves initially at the start of the game, where will the jungler path? Maybe we'll know based on just the champion. If we don't,
Yeah.
then you look for that, level 2, level 3 ward. You crash it, you ward it. Obviously, if that camp's up, that means they're pathing towards your side. If that camp's taken, they're pathing away, right? It's pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and so, again, I'm now fine with you kind of fighting to the death here because you're up a level. and because their jungler shouldn't be here. But I don't think that's why you traded. I think you traded because I'm Sett and it's fun and I'm gonna go walk at him. Like
Yeah.
that's usually because you've been doing it the entire game, not really like only
Yeah.
at specific points in the game. And so yeah. But if we just again we can do the exact same thing you're doing, but we just have those couple things of punishing the last hits, the other small things, and then we trade specifically around jungle, it can make your gameplay a lot more consistent, whereas your gameplay here is very reliant on enemy mistakes. And just hoping that they don't show up or
Which I will agree with. Like, there is a big difference between me playing Rumble and Sett, where with Sett I do lose lane a lot more often, whereas Rumble I'll lose lane like maybe once every like I don't know 15 games or so.
Yeah, and that champ is also just a mega broken laner, so it's also fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can definitely see it. And overall, I still think you played like most of the lane phase well. It's like those types of things. This game, you said you were a bit distracted at level 1, and so obviously that makes it harder. But and so again here, this is a perfect recall. Your goal here again is to push the wave right away, not to trade him. Like the same thing. You're not trying to trade this guy. You can get a Heartsteel stack, because sure, why not?
Yeah.
But then just fucking hit the wave and then leave. Because now you can just go walk the Herald, walk the Dragon, do something. Instead, you're just sitting here whacking a guy again who you're already super far ahead of. You're not gaining anything from this. This ult didn't do anything. I don't even care if you kill him. You're already ahead a bunch. And again, he has to end for you to kill him.
Yeah.
But you're already ahead a bunch. So like getting slightly further ahead compared to pushing this wave and then going Dragon and then being mega fed and impacting the Dragon fight to the point that your team aces them at Dragon, which is entirely possible. I'm not saying it happens every time, but I would say 15 to 20% of these times, if you just did this right now, you would ace them at Dragon, if not at least kill a decent amount of people and get Dragon. Most of the time, you would get a mid wave, and then Dragon fight would be over by the time you get there. Still better than what happened here, in most situations. So basically, you take that recall 30 seconds beforehand, whatever, just like you did, get on the wave, push the wave if you're in a good spot to push it. Obviously, if you're down, then that's when you're more just going to be reactive. If you're winning lane, you push the wave, go mid, just walk mid, just hit the mid wave, and then from there evaluate. Do I go back to side lane because they're pushing and I have nothing to do? That's fine. Just go back. You were gonna, right now you're there anyway. It doesn't change anything. Or Dragon fight looks really good. Now I'm gonna go. One of those two options is gonna be way more valuable than what you're doing. Pretty much, well, both of these replays, which is just you continue to lane as though there's no objective on the map at 6 minutes.
Yeah, and that's always that's also another thing that I struggle with, and like is something I really need to improve on. It's like usually my top laner will roam before I do at any point.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the best at joining fights like early on in lane phase.
And again, you're gonna a lot of times not want to join fights, especially champs like Sett and Volley are also fine on side lane. They really can do both.
Yeah.
But what you want again is I just really like doing that thing where I push my wave first and then I just go mid and then I just play like a split pusher, but I'm in mid because now I'm pushing mid. I can either continue to push mid if no one responds, I can go back to top, or I can go to the Dragon. Now I can do whatever I want and I'm close enough to do anything and not lose anything.
Right.
I just basically don't lose anything. But if you do what you do, obviously it takes you forever to walk from top to Dragon, so you usually can't do it. And I would say there's probably only a fight at Herald 5% of the time. People like never fight at Herald. Usually it's Dragons, which is just because they're bad. People should be fighting at Heralds way more. But that's just how the games go. So again, like your goal here, push out this wave, probably recall and go bot because that's where the only turret is up. And you're strong. So just recall right after this, go bot immediately, and then push your lead. If you also want, in most games, you can just be walking and taking jungle or walking mid. Like, go take this camp right now. Like, you have nothing to do. There's no turret top. The wave's not going to be killed and die under your turret by that time. Just fuck with jungle. So you have many options once you push that. Ideally, I would recall and go bot because I want to snowball because you're ahead. But most situations, you're not going to be that far ahead to do that. Go fuck with jungle.
I feel like I usually don't when like I still see like bot lane is in their lane. And it's like I usually won't do it unless I'm the only one there.
Yeah, and so there's a few things to keep in mind with that. You want to keep in mind the enemy jungle pathing, which you knew enemy jungler is pathing towards red side because you can see his camps are up. You want to keep in mind how good your laner is at pushing. So Urgot is not a good split pusher. If it was a Jax, we're more scared to leave, right? But he doesn't push that fast. And then we also want to take into account, like, if we're the one who actually wants gold in ourselves and wants to carry, because if you go bot and then you get that turret, but you give up a top turret, let's say, you getting the gold is usually more valuable than your laner who's already super far behind getting the gold, because they're not really like a carry, you know, like they're not going to be carrying the game when they're behind that much. So you're able to snowball further, you're able to get more gold on yourself, and then you're also able to open up the map for the rest of your team. Whereas let's say you're losing lane and then you have prio, then you do that, and then you give like a Fiora a bunch of gold, that's when it's going to be more problematic. And also in terms of the not going there while your team is there, that just guarantees that you're going to get the turret. Because then you can just go flash on someone, you ult them, and then everyone dies. Everyone who's there dies. So I don't really mind that at all. But yeah.
Also, a quick like build question. Just because like usually with Sett, I only build like HP and not resistances because I want like as much W damage and as quickly. But since they were all AD, I decided to go like Sunfire and Deadman's. Do you think that's needed or no?
Yeah, I mean, going armors. So one thing is, I'm like 95% sure Urgot has % health damage, and so does Vi. Vi also has armor shred, but she also has % health damage with her passive. So having more and more HP against these guys isn't like the most effective thing ever for you.
Right.
But yeah, in terms of resistance, no, you definitely should be somewhat worried still about having resistances. They're full AD here. Better item than Deadman's to me would be Frozen Heart. They have a bunch of auto attack based champions. They can't play the game if you have Frozen Heart.
Will I like build that on him since he doesn't have mana?
Yeah, you're not building it for the mana. You're building it for the 36% attack speed slow or whatever it is. I don't care about and it gives you a bunch of armor too. It's like a really high armor. I don't remember the number, but it's a lot.
No, I just meant like I don't know if that's like I was thinking that might be like wasted gold on like mana items, you know.
It is wasted gold. It's just so much better than anything else that doesn't matter.
Right. Okay.
So yeah. Basically, when you're into these full AD comps, most of the time they are very auto attack focused. So Frozen Heart usually or Randuin's gets a lot of value. Obviously, depends on the game. Maybe they're a bunch of AD assassins, but most of the time that's the case. So here I would probably go for Heartsteel, Hydra, and you go Armor Boots, obviously, then Heartsteel, Hydra, and then you'd go Frozen Heart. After that, probably just you could do Deadman's if you want, because it gives you some HP as well, or you could go Thornmail. I'm kind of fine with either. But yeah, for this game, I would be stacking more armor basically. So what you did is mostly fine. What'd you say you did? The Sunfire, right? Sunfire is good.
Sunfire and
it helps with wave clear, and it gives armor now. I always forget because it didn't used to give armor, but now it does.
Yeah.
So this is the thing again. You just pushed out your wave, 32 seconds. This is when you're going now. Like, why do we need to stay longer? This is where now we're prepared. We've pushed out everything we need to. This is when we leave. Hitting this turret does nothing. All it does is maybe make you waste flash and ult and whatever else. Just go mid right away like you do now. But now you're not on mid as quick. Say you were on mid quicker, you could just be making a play. But it ends up working regardless. But you can just see you're like a little slow about kind of looking for this type of thing. Either way it works though. And now your goal here, right after you win this fight, is to push out bot. Because again, we're then preparing for Baron. So we push out the bot wave. Now that's pushed. Now you get to go to the team fight for free as well. So at this point, already like give up on this and just go push bot. I don't care about hitting dragon. You're set. Like, it doesn't matter. Just push out bot. And then you can do whatever you want from there. The enemy weirdly get Baron. Why are they allowed to get Baron here?
Yeah, that is like that. I think really like surprised me. Like I didn't expect that. So I was kind of like, I don't know. Was thrown off
I mean,
yeah,
like
you. Like when I started.
I don't really mind you being here. I get why.
Yeah.
Like technically, yeah, maybe you should just go Baron right away, but it's kind of weird, and your Lucian is kind of the one just going way too far. I don't really mind, and they're also like they die here. It doesn't really matter. You're just pushing out the waves and then stopping it. You do want to have that awareness of Baron, but in this case, it's kind of more weird situation. But generally speaking, yeah, obviously we want to be aware of Baron, like during that time. That's why we're usually pushing out the side wave and then we're going Baron.
Yeah.
After the dragon, but yeah.
Sometimes I just like don't expect people to get early Barons so much to the point where it's like sometimes they just do and like, oh, I was just throwing.
Well, it dies like super quickly, and there are a bunch of ADCs as well, so they can kill it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then yeah, again, at this point, your goal is pretty much just have control of side lanes and then use that to have an advantage fight with your team. So like right now, you could just take this TP thing even. Well, you can't really take it here because they're gonna hit you, but like, you can just walk to bot. Like, you don't have to do anything here. There's no objective up. Literally nothing's happening. Just go to a side lane and push it out instead of you kind of just go to a random fight. And your Lucian is also, your super fed Lucian is not here. Like he's like legendary. And taking a fight as the engaged champion when by far our strongest member is not there, and when it's over nothing, there's no objective, there's nothing, doesn't really make any sense. So still should probably work out though. Not sure. Looks. I don't know why we don't go on to Senna there. You could have just walked at her. But
Yeah, let's fuck up.
yeah, and then your Lucian dies. He goes way too far. Not really your fault, but yeah, if you make the fight a lot easier for him, it's way better. Instead, you just end up again. And the biggest point is that this fight is useless. Like, even more than engaging when your teammate's not there.
Sure.
You could have just pushed out side lane, and then if you pushed out side lane and then you fought, that's way better, because now you don't lose as much if you lose the fight, and you gain way more if you win the fight, because you can get turrets, and you don't lose turrets if you lose it. Instead, the waves are pushed, and you can kind of get fucked really hard here. So it's a lot worse, obviously. I don't know why Ezreal's just not here. When you see Ezreal not there, you should just be running at this fight, by the way. Like, you're currently down 3,000 gold, but in this fight, however much gold Ezreal has isn't there, so you're probably up like 5,000 plus gold in this fight.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
You just go and you flash at them, but you don't have flash, but you just go walk at them. Even now, you can still play the fight. It doesn't matter that your Master Yi died. You're 4v4 there, and they took damage from Master Yi. They wasted spells. You probably would have legitimately won that fight. And again, your Lucian is giga fed. You could just play around him. Instead, you just leave to go push a top wave that doesn't do anything, because they're just going to go get Baron afterwards, probably.
I think that's like what happened. Like I guess like I definitely should have noticed that Ez was top and we could have fought that. But I think when I saw Yi die, I was like, oh, well, now it's pointless. But no, it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, and that's just map awareness, so I get that. Because generally it's not the best fight for your team, but also you have to understand who's strong and just play around them. Like, you're winning this game through Lucian, so what Lucian does is what you do. Like, you make his game easy. Your goal is to make his game easy at the end of the day. And when you don't do that, then he doesn't... Like, he never should be able to die here, because Zed clicks on him, you ult him away. Vi clicks on him, you ult him away. The ranged champions can't touch him. His game should be just free to play, at this point. And you can build a bunch of armor, so you're going to not die in these fights for a super long time. But instead, you're never really helping him or aware of the fact that he needs help. I don't know why he's ulting you. I think he meant to ult Asol. He probably just misclicked, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think that's another thing I do struggle with, especially with volley and Sett, is like, especially when I'm not like giga fed.
Yeah,
I still will like jump in to try to do damage to their carries instead of peeling for like any of my fed carries.
Yeah, and as it relates to fights, because a lot of times you're going to be the one making the plays, even when you're relatively strong, but definitely when you're more like normal in terms of gold, is just understand who needs to carry the fights and play around that. It doesn't mean you peel them always. Sometimes it just means you engage for them too. Like, don't engage around when that Lucian couldn't follow up, for example. Or yes, protect the Lucian, because again, the general goal of the general goal of their comp is to dive in. Like, Zed, Urgot, Vi are all very, very dive heavy. Obviously they have DPS backline, but like that's every comp's gonna have that. And so if you just stop them from being able to dive in, which is really easy to do as a Sett, they can't play the game. So this game is like way more like, there's no way you should ever lose this game compared to the last one, which is a lot more like reasonable. But if you just understood what it is you actually have to do in this game based on how the game is went, which again is just push out the side lanes and then make Lucian's game easy, like, you should never really be able to lose this game. So.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then even now, look where you walk and look where your Lucian is with the Zed on him. You walk the complete other way looking for a flank. Who are you flanking? They're dead Ezreal or their support Senna. None of these champs get flanked. They're all dive champ. They're going to go in. They're melee champions. So you just don't understand. Again, you're not really thinking about how I want to play a specific game out. Because again, if you did this and they had a fed Vayne or whatever, fed Lulu, or like a fed Vayne Lulu, right? Something like that, it makes a lot of sense. Instead, you ended up just walking back here. And then also, let's see when we use our ult, right? Because again, we kind of talked about how we probably want to use our ult to make Lucian's game easier. I guess Lucian dies here, so it's a little hard. At this point, probably going to win through Asol, playing the game. Like Asol carrying, because he's still relatively fed. And then you ult a random tank into their useless Senna. So it doesn't even matter if Senna dies, like, that's not really important. It's these level 15 people who are mega fed. And then because of that, Vi's able to ult in. If you were just like, I wait for Vi ult, and then I ult onto my teammate to make, I ult the Vi out to make my teammate's game easy, way easier to play the game.
I see. Yeah.
So yeah. And then at this point, kind of just going to be messy. I don't really know if we need to chase him, though, because he can probably kill you with ults, to be honest. If he has anti-shields, he could. But I don't know if he does. And yeah, I don't know if you really need to chase this. Probably better to worry about dragon at this point, but yeah, kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really do anything here. I don't really know if we need to walk up. I guess. I mean, maybe your Master Yi is trolling a bit. Like he's not walking forward for some reason. It's a bit strange. I guess it's kind of fine. Your Master Yi did troll that very, very hard. I don't really know what he's doing. Um, but yeah. So we'll go into notes. Basically, I write the notes out.
Sure.
What's up?
Yeah, I said sure. Works
Okay.
out.
Yeah, and so I'll just write them out as I'm writing everything. If anything I say doesn't make sense or you have questions on it, just interrupt me and ask, because obviously I'm going to send these to you, so it's important that whatever I write makes sense to you. So the first thing is jungle, and I'm just going to copy it because I write it down a lot from anyone I'm coaching. So it's just easier to copy paste from somewhere else. But basically, if the enemy jungler starts blue side, they'll clear to red side and then likely gank from 150 to 230. They go back to blue side around 230. Back to red side around 345, back to blue around 5. Again, it's the opposite if they start on the opposite side. So just flip this if they start opposite side. Does this make sense, or do you have questions on this part at all?
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So then,
Yeah, in general, like timers on most things are like things I need to think about because especially when I watch like higher earlobe players like talking about it, they talk about like specific timings, and I'm like, yeah, I never think about that at all, really.
yeah, and I think that's the biggest difference for you. Like, I think, for example, if I laned against you, I would lose lane to your Rumble a decent amount of time because it's a strong laner and you play the lane fine. But then you wouldn't do anything. Like I would recall, 5 seconds later than you. I would get Mercury treads, and then you no longer can trade with me. And then you would randomly fight me again for no reason. Like these are the types of times you would have problems, is because then I would play around my jungles, for example, like the specific timer.
Sure.
It's not all those. It's not the 95% of the time you're interacting with someone that's your problem. It's like the 5% preparation or thinking about these timers or whatever. So yeah, base your gameplay on jungle timing. Because again, I don't think you're really thinking like I want you at the very start of the game. You look where your jungler is starting. If your jungler is starting on a side away from you, he's going to path towards you. You can probably be generally more aggressive, especially if it's a ganking jungler like a Vi or Jarvan. If it's a Master Yi or an Evelynn, it's less likely for you to care as much about where they are. And then also keep in mind these jungle timings are rough. People randomly will level 3 gank you for no reason, Obviously a Rammus might be doing weirder shit. And it becomes harder to track the more inefficient someone is. So obviously none of this is exact. You're also free to message me
assuming
like
like
questions
optimal
about
play
this type of stuff. But yeah, what's up? Sorry.
Yeah. I said it's like assuming optimal play like on their
Yeah. And that's why the biggest time that I get fucked by junglers is when they do something I wouldn't expect. But I'm fine with that because usually that means then they're being inefficient and then my teammates can get advantages elsewhere. So I don't mind that. But yeah, that's a general thing. So that's one of your biggest things. Then just like punish last hits. This is something that a lot of people don't think about when they're playing melee champs. They mostly think about when they're playing range champs, especially in mid. But when the enemy walks up for a last hit, that's an easy time for you to actually fuck them instead, again, you trade in the wave too much. So then be aware of goal with trading. So like into the Garen, going even trade with him, not really useful because he has more sustain than you. And then goal is, that's weird. Goal is to either crash wave and recall around 150 usually, or stack wave and dive. But just generally be more aware of the fact that you can like stack these waves up when you're in the advantage. You have control of the wave, you can build it up slowly. Like a lot of times you are on one wave and that wave almost always gets under the tower by the time the next wave comes. Whereas if you watch how I play a lot of early game, because I play like Renekton a lot, he's very strong early game too. And very, very frequently, I want as little interaction with the minions as possible. Like I want the minions to take as little damage as possible so that I can build up 2 or 3 waves. And then very, very often, I'm crashing on level 5, where I'm level 5, they're level 3 points like 7-5, so they don't hit 4. And then we dive them, or I get to recall first. And so just basically, again, it's like kind of be okay with small leads, right?
Yeah. I definitely tried that with Sett versus like champions like Kale. So it's like before they can especially get like their ultimate and save them from a dive.
Yeah.
So if they're level 4 and 5, I can dive them kind of thing.
Or I think Volley of your champs is the best at that, by the way, because his ult, obviously. But yeah, all of them are good with this stuff. What other things do we talk about? I think early game, then it's like the preparation before dragons. So before drag. Crash wave, and then use prio to either recall or to go mid, and then just push mid and evaluate from there. Means sometimes you go back to your lane, sometimes you go to the dragon, right? That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Then team fights, just like spell tracking and team fights. I don't know. I think I write spell tracking to every single person I coach at this point, because there's almost always, like, even me, like, I'm playing and sometimes I forget about a spell and I die. It's just a thing that you should always be thinking about. Some things you can kind of build as habits. Some things always require conscious thought, and since obviously there's different champs in every game, you're pretty much always having to consciously think about which spells are dangerous to you. So whenever you're approaching fights, be aware of that. Then be more patient with rumble in fights.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are not a tank. So basically just like don't try to take so much space. And then as tanks in fights, be aware of when your goal is to peel carry, or when your goal is to engage, or when your goal is to like kill enemy carry, right? Like those are kind of your main goals. Is like sometimes, yeah, we just want to make sure that if my Lucian doesn't die, we just win the fight. Other times, Fed Vayne Lulu, I probably can't kill the Vayne, so I'll go onto the Lulu, just make their game hard. Other times we're up 10k gold. If I just ult into them, we'll just win the fight. So I can just make the fight happen. It doesn't matter if something's perfect. I just make it happen.
And I think that's like that helps with like the consistency, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
I feel like I play a lot of the games, especially with someone like Sett, the same no matter what the team comp is. So it's like so then half of the time it does work out for me.
Exactly.
So I'm like, oh, let me keep doing it. But then half the time it's like we're here, where like you're saying, it's mostly divers. It's like, wait, why didn't that work out? It worked out last time.
And that's also, if you're confused, as I said, like message me, like just send me a team comp and just be like, how do you think these fights should roughly play out? I'm not saying I can predict exactly how it should play out every time, but those are the types of things where it's like, the more you play, the more experience you get of roughly how these fights should play out. Obviously, I've played a lot of roles and champions, so I know more like what their different goals are. So if you're confused on that, it's more like try to solve that problem yourself during the game. Try to figure it out, and then if it goes wrong, then you're like, okay, why did it go wrong? Was there something to do with maybe this champion popped off more than I realized? Maybe, you know, I needed to worry more about that, or whatever the case may be. But it's just more about like, you have an idea of how to play your champion normally in like a good game. Like I don't think you have a problem with playing Sett or Rumble in a good game. It's when the game is more like revolving around a specific goal, or you're not the main character of the game, where like your Lucian is fit or something. That's when it becomes harder for you to play. Then also push opposite side of objective. I can't spell. Objective around 45 seconds beforehand. Then decide if we want to stay on side lane or not. You know, side or rotate. Then win a team, or as a team fighting champion, I guess. As a team fighting champion, when you are hovering objectives, you can push out sides. Like this is like the Baron example where you're hovering around Baron and you kind of were just grouping mid to your team, kind of confused at where to be. Push out the sides first, right? Then go to the fight. Like prio just makes the fights way easier. A lot of these fights are just approaching on even footing, and it makes it a lot harder. So that's important. Are there other things we talked about? I'm trying to think of what else might be important to mention.
I'm trying to think too. I think that was mostly it. I think especially stuff like the jungle tracking and pushing out waves and having prio and everything are some of the big ones.
Trade around level advantages. I forgot about that part too. So yeah, I would say if I'm gonna summarize it, early game, basically be more aware of jungle as a whole and base your gameplay more around jungle and the goal of the lane rather than just trading generally. Then in the mid game, just understand your goal is just to create as much gold as possible, so you push out a wave, then you look whatever else you can do with your time rather than kind of overstaying on side lane. And then once you get to the 11 minutes onwards, your goal is side lane pushed out, prepare in advance, 15 or like 45 seconds beforehand, whatever, push out the side lane, group with mid or group with your team, whatever. But make sure that you're not just like you don't need to be at the fight right away. You push out the waves, you use prio to make the fights easier rather than trying to like obsess over the fight. And then as it relates to fighting itself, it's about understanding your goal in the fights, like whether your goal is to protect the carry, kill enemy carry, whatever, and then spell tracking in the fights. So those are kind of like the major things. Anything else?
Sure.
Any questions? Anything at all?
No, I think that's it actually. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that covers a lot of bases for sure.
Then I will send these to you. I'll see you later and good luck.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.